Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, a place where we do the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is not important, and I am your host. Guys, lots of effery going on. Yesterday we're going to talk about it, guys. So go ahead and smash that like button, turn the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and let's get boring. Gary Gensler reports SEC X account compromised, not spot Bitcoin ETF approval yet. Yesterday, absolute debauchery. Lawyers, politicians call for investigation of SEC over Bitcoin ETF post. U.S. senators seek Gary Gensler's report on X breach deadline Monday. Gary, is your job in trouble? Should be. Guys, and last but not least, XRP ETF likely after Bitcoin approval, Valkyrie investment chief says. Are you holding XRP? I am. All right, guys, let's go to the market. The current market cap right now, guys, let's refresh. Sitting at 1.7 trillion, down 1.12% after yesterday's nonsense. Bitcoin 52.4%. Dominance ETH 16.9, getting up there just a little bit finally for ETH. And 23 away. We'll get you that ETH transaction. Guys, fear and greed index sitting at 72. Let's blow through the top 100 and see what the outliers are. As soon as Bitcoin retraced after the nonsense yesterday, Ethereum pumped. Why? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. But ETH sitting at 4.21 on the day. Solana down 5.16. Optimism up 9.82. Lido DAO up 18.67. Lido DAO's moving right now. Injective getting hit hard, down 9.65 after yesterday's nonsense. Ethereum Classic up 5.05%. Maybe that's what we need to buy, is all the bullshit old school forks, because they're not being manipulated by traditional finance and nobody's paying attention to them. I don't know. Arbitrum up 11.22%. Stacks down 12.6%. TIA down 7.27%. Mantle up 5.54%. MakerDAO up 6.66%. That's awkward. Thorchain down 6.27%. C down 11.11%. Algorand down just under 5% now. Aave up 5.69%. Ordi down 7.32%. Render down 5.62%. Sats 1000 down 7.27%. Mina down 5.17%. Synthetics up 9%. Bonk up 9.37%. SUI down 5.32%. Woo down 6.24%. ASTR down 8.4%. FXS up 8.87%. Rocket Pool ripping up 14.62%. Excuse me. We've got AXL down 8.14%, and Arweave ticking into the top 100, guys. That is your top 100 and your outliers. Bitcoin 4-hour looking shaky as shit. Guys, this is a financial advisor. I'm a financial advisor. Don't pay attention to me. I'm some random dude in a room making YouTube videos by himself, drawing things on a screen like it's Microsoft Paint. I don't know how to trade. Anyway, Bitcoin 4-hour. Does this not look exactly the same as this? Kind of does to me, right? Guys, I gotta be honest. Looking at the price action and all this fuckery. Okay, so if you don't know, we're gonna get into it. At around 5 o'clock yesterday, there was a post made by the official SEC X account that, and it looked like a very official post too, that the all ETFs basically have been approved. Okay. And because of that, when that went down, the market ripped. And then within minutes, it was Gary Gensler's actual X account came out and said that the SEC account had been compromised, that it wasn't true, and then it tanked. And then we bounced, we stayed above, we got a daily candle above the 45,846, so I felt everything was good. Now everything's looking like a sack of shit. My point, dude, they're playing games. Like, there's no way this isn't a bunch of bullshit. They're playing games. Best case scenario right now, that if it's not a bunch of manipulation, is that we bounce off of this, the top of the ascending triangle, and we don't turn this into a bull trap. We bounce, retest, see you later, bye. Or retest, bounce, see you later, bye. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. Today is supposedly the last day they have to either give an approval, a denial, or a extension. So who knows what's going to happen now, especially after all of that nonsense. Yeah, outside of that, guys, if we break back into the pattern, look for a bounce off the bottom trend line. Look for a bounce off of 42,516. If we break all that, we could be going down to 40, especially rolling into the weekend, it being Wednesday, things like that. So look, everybody's waiting around right now on bated breath to see what the SEC is going to say. My honest opinion, I don't give a shit anymore. Here's the reality. They have milked this thing so much. If you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for this, I think it's already over. I don't think anyone cares anymore. If they deny it, who cares? We have the halving in the middle of the year. Everything goes according to plan per usual. Nothing changes in my opinion. So that's just me. I'm over it. But Bitcoin, guys, you know levels. When the fake announcement came out, we literally ripped all the way to 48 and then retraced. So 48, that's your beast. That's what we got to break if we're going to keep continuing to the upside. Some fun food for thought here on the 4 hour. Or no, we're on the 8. Let's go back to the 4. No, the 8. That's actually looking really good. Let's go back to 8. Look at this. We still got this trend line pretty much holding, right? Of this kind of bullish momentum. So we'll leave that there. Keep an eye on it. If we do lose it, I would definitely think we're going to go back into the pattern. But there's just too much nonsense going on right now. So who knows, man? This thing could swing all over the place. Especially, and even if it does, let's say this. If it does get approved, expect all sorts of crazy volatility. I'm not playing it. I'm just holding, guys. You've known this for quite some time. Expect all sorts of whipsaws and crazy volatility. And I would not be trying to decide where Bitcoin's going to go till at least a few days after, to a week or two after. If you haven't bought already, I don't know what to say, man. But that's it, guys. That's Bitcoin being manipulated. ETH took off, but ETH's looking heavy manipulated too. Like, so ETH ripped after Bitcoin pulled back, and now we're pulling back, and it's looking just like every single one of these breakouts of this level. Big wick, push back down to right here, 2380, right around this range. So nothing's really changed, guys. It definitely looks like there's just, these prices to me look like they're being stomped on purpose. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's get you to the news. Get you out of here. Gary Gensler reports SEC X account compromised. No spot Bitcoin ETF approval yet. Gensler's post came 15 minutes after the SEC. It was. I thought it was a lot sooner than 15 minutes. Post came 15 minutes after the SEC's account falsely reported that a spot Bitcoin ETF were approved. United States Securities Exchange Commission has confirmed it has not yet approved the listing of trading a spot Bitcoin ETF product that a previous post suggested so was false. On January 9th, multiple news outlets published an inaccurate story after the official X account of the SEC posted a tweet claiming that the regulator had approved a spot Bitcoin ETF for the first time. Approximately 15 minutes later, SEC Chair Gary Gensler said the commission had not approved a listing and trading of spot Bitcoin ETF products. Various news outlets, including Cointelegraph, Blockworks, and Reuters, had initially reported that the story from the SEC before Gensler's statement. Guys, I gotta be honest. The post, I have a screenshot. I saved it. It looks very official. Someone spent a lot of time. If this was a hack, someone spent a lot of time trying to make it look super legit. The font's correct, the sizing of everything, even the wording seems very correct. The rumor or the conspiracy theory is that someone fat fingered it, that this is a post that they were getting ready to approve anyways, or a post they're getting ready to post either today or whatever, and someone accidentally posted early, or a theory that they purposely did this to manipulate the market and see what the market would do. As well as I've read a theory floating around that they did this so they can extend and come out with a statement today and say, we can't approve any ETFs until we figure out what happened inside the SEC. It's pending investigation now, right? So we'll see what happens. There's the loser himself. The SEC Gov Twitter account, you mean X account, you fucking hack, was compromised, and an unauthorized tweet was posted. The SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin ETFs. There you go. The initial unauthorized post claimed that the commission had granted approval for spot Bitcoin ETFs to be listed on U.S. exchanges, showing a photo and fake quote from the SEC chair. The SEC also pulled the initial tweet, though it had already racked up millions of views at that point. The SEC Gov X account was compromised, and an unauthorized post was posted. The SEC has not approved a listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. Right. In a statement to Cointelegraph, the SEC said the unauthorized tweet was not made by the SEC or its staff. The SEC's at SEC Gov. Sorry, guys. The SEC Gov X account had been compromised. The unauthorized tweet regarding Bitcoin ETFs was not made by the SEC or its staff. Many had expected the commission to release a decision on a spot Bitcoin ETF sometime in the next 2 days, after several asset managers completed some of the final filings for their applications. Here's the screenshot, guys. It looks pretty effing legit. Today, the SEC grants approval for hashtag Bitcoin ETFs for listings on all registered national securities exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. And this loser's face, and quote, today's approval enhances market transparency and provides investors with efficient access to digital asset investments within a regulated framework. Chair Gary Gensler. Yeah, it looked pretty legit, guys. Though the social media post was false, the SEC may still approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. Neither Gensler nor the SEC's tweet stated that the commission had plans to approve or deny the investment vehicle. A decision is expected on a spot Bitcoin ETF from ARK Invest and 21 shares by January 10th, which some experts believe could lead to simultaneous approvals for other asset managers. Before Gensler's statement claiming the SEC X account was compromised, crypto users and the market reacted accordingly. The price of Bitcoin surged roughly 2.5% from 46,729 to 47,901 before dropping roughly 77% to 44,701. At the time of publication, the Bitcoin price was under 46,000 according to data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro. Some on social media suggested the information contained in the retracted SEC tweet was accurate but released prematurely. The Commission's X account showed it's liked 2 replies to the false tweet from random users, usually activity from the SEC. Mr. James S. Gary is going to want some heads to roll for this. Honestly, I would too if I were him. Just better hope it isn't taken out on these potential ETF issuers. Yeah, they'll sue the shit out of them if it is. It's not their fault. All right, moving on, guys. Lawyers, politicians call for investigation of SEC over Bitcoin ETF post. Charles Gasparino on Fox Business said he's been told by securities lawyers that the SEC will have to investigate itself for alleged market manipulation. Lol. United States lawyer and senator have called on Congress to demand an investigation into U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This is what might hang up the ETFs, which might be on purpose. After its ex formerly Twitter blah 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 account was reportedly compromised, falsely reported news that the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved. Just like the SEC would demand accountability from a public company if they made such a colossal market-moving mistake, Congress needs answers on what just happened. This is unacceptable, said U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty in a January 9th X post. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis also demanded the SEC offer some transparency into the events that led to the false post. Fraudulent announcements like the one that was made on the SEC social media can manipulate markets. We need transparency on what happened. Reading this, guys, I hate to be the conspiracy theory dude, but reading these kinds of statements sounds like theater to me. It sounds orchestrated. I'm sorry. Charles Gasparino on Fox Business said he's been told by securities lawyers that the SEC will have to investigate itself for market manipulation. That sounds like a conflict of interest if I've ever heard one. Breaking. Securities lawyers tell Fox Business the SEC Gov. Well, I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm an idiot. The SEC Gov will have to investigate itself for market manipulation after moving the price of Bitcoin up and down following the hacked tweet that it had approved for the first spot Bitcoin ETF and then saying it was fake. That said, for the SEC. Concerns were flagged by U.S. Representative Ann Wagner, who referred to the incident as a clear market manipulation that impacted millions of investors. I plan to get more answers from Chair Gensler on this incident. I'm sure you'll get all sorts of great answers from that loser. Chair Gary Gensler, does this mean we could blame more than the SEC Gov's horrible rulemaking and so-called regulation by enforcement on the compromised account? Asking for a friend. Sincerely, Chairman of the House Financial Services Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee. Bloomberg ETF analyst James S. suggested that the SEC Chair Gary Gensler would be furious with the staff members responsible for the alleged security breach. Gary is going to want someone's head to roll for this. Honestly, I would if I were him. Others such as investment manager Timothy Peterson of Cane Island Alternative Advisors claimed that the SEC security breach was a potential market manipulation event, which is exactly what the commission is supposed to protect investors against. How can the SEC Gov protect hundreds of millions of investors when it can't even protect its own social media account, said Peterson. Today, the SEC Gov showed what it does best, manipulating markets and hurting U.S. investors. Exactly. And I'm not pointing fingers, but somebody's negligence in your organization just wrecked some real live investors, added U.S. lawyer James Metal Lawman Murphy in a post directed at Gensler. X Safety, an account controlled by X, which had been investigating the incident, later confirmed the SEC's account was compromised due to an unidentified individual obtaining control over a phone number associated with the SEC account via third party. X Safety added the SEC's account was not secured by two-factor authentication at the time it was compromised. Funny. And How convenient. This is what I'm getting at. Bitcoin advocate Leah Halpern noted the SEC's false post stayed up for 20 minutes before it was taken down and amassed at least 4.4 million views in that time frame. Also, we have seen large accounts get hacked over the last 2 years. They don't get fixed in 20 minutes. Think about it, guys. Think about it. They do not get fixed in 20 minutes. Weird that this one got fixed very fast. This is absolute market manipulation, Halpern claimed. There's your screenshot. The SEC has provided additional details about how its X account was compromised, but has denied its staff was involved in publishing the unauthorized tweet. Despite the news, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balkunas said he's still looking for official approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF sometimes between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time today. We shall see. All right, moving on. U.S. Senators seek Gary Gensler's report on X breach deadline Monday. Senators J.D. Vance and Tom Tillis raised concerns about the commission's internal cybersecurity procedures while demanding clarity on the incident. Two United States senators are calling on the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to provide a report to Congress about the January 9th breach of its X account. In a same-day letter to the SEC Chair Gary Gensler, Senator J.D. Vance and Tom Tillis described the incident as raising serious concerns about the Commission's internal cybersecurity procedures. It also called it antithetical. Never heard that one before. To Commission's tripartite. Guys, stop using big words. I'm not smart enough to read this shit. Mission to protect investors, maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and facilitate capital formation. Concerned about the recent hack, which they said introduced widespread confusion. The two senators have requested the SEC provide Congress with a report about the incident, referring to a recently finalized rulemaking regarding cybersecurity disclosures. The letter sent on January 9th sets a deadline for January 23rd. The letter also reminded the SEC about the mandate that requires all businesses to disclose all impacts to the business within 4 days of a cybersecurity incident. If this compromised social media post was indeed a result of a cybersecurity attack, would it be possible for the Commission, SEC, to provide Congress with a report on the breach within 4 business days? If not, please explain why. The incident occurred on January 9th when the SEC's account shared a false tweet suggesting spot Bitcoin ETF had been approved in the United States. However, the excitement across the crypto community was short-lived after Gensler revealed that the SEC's X account was compromised and was used to send out an unauthorized tweet. While the investors and markets reacted unpredictably amid the confusion, many pointed out the SEC's lack of preparedness against cyber attacks and online threats. An internal investigation from X confirmed the SEC account was not using two-factor authentication at the time of the breach. The X report also added, based on our investigation, the compromise was not due to any breach of X's systems, but rather due to an unidentified individual obtaining control over a phone number associated with the SEC Gov account through a third party. Right. It sounds like it's on purpose to me, guys. So, like, literally, you have access to a large government official social media account, and you don't have like all the security on the planet for that shit. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. Several top-ranking government officials, including Senator Cynthia Lummis and Bill Hagerty, as well as Representative Ann Wagner, echoed the sentiment of fellow members of Congress, just like the SEC would demand accountability from a public company if they made such a colossal market-moving mistake. Congress needs answers on what just happened. This is unacceptable. While Hagerty demanded full disclosure about the incident, Loomis highlighted the risk associated with fraudulent announcements and asked for clarity on incidents that can manipulate markets. All right, guys, last but not least, XRP ETF likely after Bitcoin approval, Valkyrie investment chief says. Valkyrie Fund co-founder Steve McClurg has discussed the likelihood of Ethereum and XRP ETFs following the SEC's anticipated approval of Bitcoin spot ETF. In a recent Bloomberg interview, Valkyrie Fund's co-founder and chief investment officer Steve McClure hinted at the possibility of the approval of Ethereum or XRP exchange traded fund ETFs following the anticipated launch of a Bitcoin spot ETF. Guys, read between the lines. Why would he suggest this if they're not planning on putting in the application themselves? Let that sink in. So, quote unquote, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Ripple or Ethereum spot ETFs out there, he said. This prediction comes in the wake of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission likely giving the green light for Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF, with trading expected to commence as early as Thursday. However, McClurg is not certain whether Valkyrie is going to launch such products in the future. I really don't know if we're going to do that or not, he added. What, you're expecting it. You wouldn't be surprised if you saw it, but you don't know if you're going to do it. Right. Guys, that's called a setup. Yeah. You ever read the beginning of a large novel and they kind of tell you what's going to happen? Called foreshadowing. That's what's happening. More spot ETFs on the horizon. McClurg's optimism about Ethereum and Ripple ETFs is backed by recent market developments. He pointed out that Grayscale's addition of here we go. He pointed out that Grayscale's addition of XRP to one of their publicly traded trusts shows a growing interest in diversified cryptocurrency investment products. I didn't even know that. Guys, XRP is going to get an ETF. They're setting it up, or at least applied for one. Valkyrie has not confirmed plans to pursue these specific ETFs, but McClurg believes that the market is ripe for such offerings. He emphasized that these potential ETFs could be more retail-focused, providing easier access to a broader range of investors who may not be deeply embedded in the cryptocurrency market. Anything can happen. However, McClurg cautioned that the SEC's decision-making process is unpredictable and the agency's approval is never guaranteed. Valkyrie is prepared to launch its Bitcoin ETF, but McClurg remains cautiously optimistic, acknowledging that anything can happen in a regulatory landscape. We are prepared for an effective date on Wednesday today and trading on Thursday. But we know that anything can happen, so I'm about 95% sure that we will be trading on Thursday, he said. Well, there you go, guys. I think it's going to come, at least the applications. It's always up to the SEC and those shitheads to approve it, but these people, if they weren't telling you right now that they're going to apply for one, I don't know how else to tell you. As long as this article is legit, I don't know anything about you today. I just saw this and went for it. All right, guys, let's look at Bitcoin one last time before we get out of here. Getting bought back up. That looks pretty good. I'm not too mad about that. Smaller time frames. Let's go. Yeah, bounced right off the top. Guys, and yeah, here's what's crazy. This is smaller time frame, 15-minute. Yellow X's usually mean manipulation. I don't know why or how that, but that's when you learn market cipher, that's what they tell you. Big V shape on the 7-minute, bounce right off the top of the trend line. Okay, guys, that's all I've got for you this morning, guys. Per usual, if you do enjoy the content I provide for you here every morning on Boring Crypto IO, please by all means subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for notifications so you know when I do post videos. Please watch the videos. Please share the videos on all your social platforms. And above all, if there's anything you can do to help spread the adoption of crypto and help grow our channel, please by all means like the videos. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I'll see you bright and easy tomorrow morning. I am out of here.